firstly, I just want to say a huge thank you to everybody that sent in a comment, that watched the video, that shared the video on Twitter or Facebook. It really, really means a lot to me, and I can't thank you enough. This show wouldn't happen without you. So here we are, first show. I've got some questions and I'm going to answer them. Ryan has asked, what can people do before they start thinking about design to improve their work? So if you're looking at this outside of the aesthetics of design, then I would absolutely say that the most important thing is to start doing research as soon as possible. Have meetings with the client, understand the company and what it is that they're trying to achieve. And then you can start to think about how your design will start to solve those problems and achieve those goals in the best way. So Lacey asks, is it better to specialise in a certain area of design or be a generalist? Great question, Lacey, and thank you for sending it in. So I guess this really comes down to what it is that you want out of your career. So if you like the challenges and the idea of being able to do multiple different things and, you know, step into code at one point, do a bit of print, then go back into web, then I think that's absolutely fine to kind of be more generalist. But then there are some people that are really focused on a specific element of design, so be that typography or just web design, or it might even be that they just really love doing print work. That's also absolutely fine. It really comes down to what it is that you want to do and what you can see yourself be doing for the next, say, 20, 30, maybe 50 years. So I would say to think about what it is that you want out of your design career, and then either focus on one thing or try a few different other things. I think there's a lot to be said for trying out a bit of everything, you know, whether that's trying out a bit of code or trying out more typography or lettering or whatever it is, because you never know, you might find something that you actually really, really enjoy. And if you don't enjoy it so much, that's fine, you've learned something, so it's not all bad. So Phil asks, is the demand for web design to work across devices through responsive web design an opportunity or a massive pain in the bollocks for designers? Thanks for the great question, Phil. Made me laugh. So I would say that it's a massive opportunity. I think the thing is it's scary, right? People don't really like change, and you know, when Ethan first coined the term responsive web design, people immediately sort of think, oh, how the hell are we ever going to do this? And I think this is because, you know, we're very used to using tools like Photoshop to do our design work in, and then we'd sort of send that off to the development team and it would be coded up, and that would be it, and it would be fixed and everything would be lovely. That's fine, but I think Jeremy Keith speaks about this a lot when he says that the web has always been fluid and we created the fixed width viewport. So really it's kind of just going back to more of the nature of the web, really. So I would say it's a massive opportunity. I think it's challenging, and I think that's great, because if we didn't evolve and we didn't change, then the web would become very stagnant and everyone would feel very safe and everyone would kind of get a bit bored. So I mean, I love the fact that, you know, we now have websites that work properly on mobile devices and tablets, and we don't have to pinch to zoom in. As much as Apple would love us just to do that, I think the fact that now we are able to cater better to these devices and thinking more about the web as fluid rather than just certain devices or viewports, I think that's great, and I welcome the challenge. Andrew asks, where are my keys? Where you left them? Sorry. So Robert asks, as a designer, how and when do you talk to your clients about content? So I think what we try to do is, in the very first meeting that we have with the client, we ask them, have they thought about content? Do they have somebody on their team that is dedicated to writing the content, or is there already content in place? If there's not any consideration for either the content that's on their current site and that we think needs to be revamped, or there's no consideration of who might do that, then we would generally suggest that we bring in somebody to work on their content. Everybody knows, I think, that content is absolutely vital to a good experience on the web. Yeah, I think having those conversations as early on as possible is absolutely key. So yeah, from the very first meeting, you should be having the conversations about content. So Thicky has asked, what should non-designers expect when asking for a pitch? And at what point should a pitch cost a customer money? So every agency is going to be different. At NoDivide, we tend to put together, we're happy to put together for free, a proposal about how we would generally solve the problem they're looking to solve, and what that would kind of consist of, what technology we'd use and things like that. It's not a full spec. We won't go through the whole system and spec it out and go into full detail about that. We would generally only do that once we've kind of agreed a quote for the work, or at least an estimate for the work. So I think from a customer point of view, not expecting any creative work, speculative designs or a technical brief or specification, I think that's probably shouldn't really be in an unpaid stage of the project. As I said, every agency is different. We just, as a small team, we can't dedicate somebody on the team for say 3-4 days to put together a full spec and start to do creative work. So that's just the way that we've done it. I just wondered if you could talk openly about the impact winning a Net Magazine award had on you and your career. It'd be great to hear about the positives and even any unexpected challenges, if any, as a result of winning. I've been nominated for Designer of the Year this year. Although I totally don't expect to win such an accolade, it would be really interesting to hear your thoughts on the subject. So firstly, congratulations for being nominated, that's awesome. I would say there are definitely some positives. So the main thing that I had from winning the .NET Award back in 2013 was the fact that I met so many great people, and it was actually there that I met Ryan, who is now the person that I work with and form No Divide with. So it was actually there that I met him, and we've gone on to form a business together. I met loads of other great people as well. It introduced me to Net Magazine, so I've kind of gone on to write a couple of articles for them, which has been great. But aside from that, really, it's just like a nice feel-good, really. You know, as soon as the next year comes, you know, the next Young Designer of the Year is here, and you know, we're already in 2015, and in September there'll be another new Young Designer of the Year. So you know, it's kind of temporary, but it's a good feeling. It feels great to win, and yeah, that's kind of it, really. Luke asks, I'd love to get into speaking, although public speaking isn't something I'm natural at whatsoever. My question is, how did you attempt to get into speaking publicly? What were some of the challenges you faced, and how did you attempt to overcome them? So Luke, this is something that most people aren't comfortable with. Most people aren't that comfortable with getting up in front of a crowd of people and speaking about something, especially something that they really care about, like design. So I would say, for me, I was actually I'm a really nervous person, but I really wanted to do it. So I just started off by doing a few small gigs. I'd say the thing to do is start small, you know, evening events such as like Breaking Borders, MK Geek Night, Second Wednesday. There are some really great events around the country, and there's loads more as well. Check out Lanyard, it'll be a really good place to check out for events. And offer yourself to speak for free and just give it a go. The more you do of it, the more you become better at it. You get better prepared. You tend to sort of do a live rehearsal almost. You know, you're testing your talk out in front of people, which is really great, and you see the response. So yeah, just sort of get out there and do it, but start small and just do it. You have an Illustrator and Photoshop cushion. Is the middle one Flash? No, it's not Flash. I'm assuming you're talking about these. They are Illustrator, Photoshop, and InDesign. So yeah, I grabbed those from a site called My Sweet Stuff, which I don't think exists anymore, but I'll link down below a link to a shop that sells kind of similar ones if you're interested. So that's it for episode 1. I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope you found it interesting. Remember, you can still send in your questions using the hashtag Let's Talk Design. You can email me, or if you fancy using Facebook, you can use Facebook too. I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope you found it valuable. If you have, make sure you leave a comment, share it, tweet about it, whatever. Get the message out there. I would want to answer more questions and keep on doing this. So yeah, thank you. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching, and speak to you soon. Those things stink. Ugh.